Hi y'all, my name is Tapas and this is Eat, Read, Sleep, where we summarize books in just 10 minutes, give or take.
That's right, so whether this is your first time catching the book or a refresher, welcome. My name is Kalina, and if you like what you see, we'd love your support through the thumbs up like button below, and also give that red subscribe button a nice big hug for us at the end of this episode.
And who doesn't like nice big hugs in a non-creepy, non-awkward way? Alright, let's get into this week's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a
Whoa. Gee, this is a family show, come on, we've got kids now.
Okay, F. The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F.
Thank you.
By Mark Manson. Now this is not your standard self-help book. In fact, Manson explains it's almost like an anti-self-help book. It's a counterintuitive approach to living a good life, where you don't try to be better to achieve something, you figure it out with what you have. It's about being comfortable with your current situation, losing and letting go of things, how to inventory the most important things in your life, and give fewer Fs.
That's right. So it's no surprise that the book opens up to the first chapter, Don't Try. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, don't effing try. Manson shares a story about a low-life poet, Bukowski.
I have a great poem for you guys. Why are you all losers? I'm not a loser, you guys are losers, I don't give a...
Yeah, that guy. This guy spent his entire life in a blur of alcohol, drugs, gambling, prostitutes, and at the age of 50 and drunk, a publisher took an interest on him, and Bukowski went to publish 6 novels, hundreds of poems, and selling over 2 million copies of his books. And then, he died a loser, still consumed with alcohol, drugs, and gambling, and his tombstone read, Don't Try.
Cool story, right? Starving poet, never gave up, beat the odds. We should all strive to be successful like that dude. Wrong. This dude was a total loser. What made him less of a loser was that he knew it and he accepted it. He never tried to be anyone else for anyone else. He was authentic and completely honest with himself. This allowed him to write honestly, and his genuine side showed up in his work. Here's the moral of the story. Bukowski was completely comfortable with himself as a failure. He gave no Fs about success. Even after his fame, he still showed up to his poetry readings, hammered and verbally abused his audience. He gave no Fs and didn't even try to give any Fs.
Alright, so don't try? Really? Kinda. The problem with success stories that we often see is that self-improvement and success go hand in hand. That doesn't mean they are the same thing though. Self-improvement is fixating on what you lack. This means that you become obsessed with what you think are your shortcomings and failures. It's a perception. And then all you want to do is be someone else, softened by the idea that it's a better version of yourself. So stop giving an F to what you think you suck at, what you think you need, or what it will take for you to be successful or rich or pretty or just better. Giving too many Fs is bad for your mental health, and it makes you attached to the superficial and fake that will never bring you happiness or satisfaction. In fact, there's such a thing called the backwards law. The idea that the more you pursue feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become, as pursuing something only reinforces the fact that you lacked it in the first place. Manson says that the key to a good life is not giving an F about more, it's giving an F about less. Giving an F only about what is true and immediate and important.
Okay, I get the message, Kalina, but I mean, how do you just not give an F?
I'm glad you asked, Tapas. Manson sums it up in 3 subtlety points. Point 1, not giving an F does not mean being indifferent. It means being comfortable with being different. There's no such thing as lack of adversity, so you can't get away from all that ish that you're going to deal with in life. Just find the stuff you like dealing with. Subtlety point 2, to not give an F about adversity, you must first give an F about something more important than adversity. When a person has no problems, the mind automatically finds ways to invent some. So find something important and meaningful in your life. This is the most productive use of your time and energy. And the last point to subtly not give an F, whether you realize it or not, you're always choosing what not to give an F about. So choose wisely.
Okay, I think I get it now. And I think I also understand why Manson says happiness is a problem. In chapter 2, we learn from the Buddha that life itself is a form of suffering. He teaches us that pain and loss are inevitable, and we should just go on trying to resist them. Our society thinks of happiness as a problem that we can solve for. If I achieve X, then I can be happy. If I look like Y, then I can be happy. The problem is, happiness is not a solvable equation. Happiness comes from solving problems. So get this, problems are a constant in life. When you solve one problem, you create a new problem. Take getting into shape. I want to get fit, so now I gotta join a gym. Now I have the problem of having to get up early or figuring out when I actually want to work out in between my job and my family. Problems never stop. They merely get exchanged and or upgraded.
I hope I'm not SOL because constantly solving problems seem a bit much for me.
It can be, but only if you allow two things to hold you back: denial and having a victim mentality. We have to realize that problems will exist, no matter who's to blame and whether we acknowledge problems or not. So the secret to happiness is not having problems in the first place. It is solving the problems that keep coming your way.
Problem solved. So happiness is not something magically discovered, it grows through activity. And speaking of activities, let's do an activity called You Are Not Special. Yeah, you heard me. Chapter 3 is You're Not Special. Manson and his made-up superhero, Disappointed Panda, are here to tell us to stop being entitled and stop thinking that self-esteem is worth everything. Well, unless you actually have a good reason to feel good about yourself. In short though, there's no such thing as personal problems, because if you've got a problem, chances are millions of other people have had it in the past, have it now, and are going to have it in the future. So let go of that constant pressure to be something amazing, to be the next big thing, whatever it is. Let it all off your back so that you no longer carry the stress and anxiety that comes with it. The knowledge and acceptance of your own mundane existence will actually free you to accomplish what you truly wish to accomplish without judgment or lofty expectations.
Okay, I have no transition from that. Let's get into the fact that you're an onion. Okay, it's a peach, but go along with it. I mean, your self-awareness is an onion or a peach. When you peel back those layers, get ready to cry. I'm not gonna cry right now, guys. In chapter 4, we talk about the value of suffering. We suffer because we don't live up to the expectations we set for ourselves. We make up these expectations based on the values that are important to us. So it's important to identify those values. The problem is, we all have emotional blind spots, mostly groomed from childhood. And we need to start asking some questions when emotions arise. Specifically, why do we feel a certain way? And why is that way considered a failure or success? What this helps you identify are two things: the value that is important to you and the metric you use to measure that value. Manson gives an example about being upset at his brother that he doesn't take 10 seconds out of his day to call him. The value in this is having a good relationship with his brother. The metric he uses is frequency of contact. What if his brother's metric for this value is different? What if his brother had a different value altogether? The bottom line is your values and how you measure problems is how much you will suffer. And remember Freud's words: one day in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful.
Okay, I've got another quote. Often, the only difference between a problem being painful or being powerful is the sense that we choose it and that we're responsible for it. Chapter 5 is all about choices because you're always choosing, whether consciously or subconsciously. Even ignoring a problem is a choice. Look, we're all humans. We like control. So when we get the choice, we feel empowered. And when something is forced upon us where we have no control, well, we don't take it too well. We've heard it before. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Yada, yada, yada. Well, what's really important is to remember that you are responsible to respond, and how you respond is important. The more we choose to accept responsibility in our lives, the more power we exercise over our lives. And Manson gets pretty frank about this. You're already choosing what to give an F about, so choose to give an F about something else and move on.
You're wrong by everything.
I'm not.
But so am I. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, you're wrong by everything, but so am I is the next chapter. People are so obsessed with being right that they spend more time trying to prove their point than actually living it. The world is ever changing, guys. Ideas evolve, trends fade, technology improves. What is right today may be wrong tomorrow. In fact, it probably won't be. But people get hung up on the idea that wrong equals failure, which also equals uncertainty. There's actually a law for this. It's called the law of avoidance. The more something threatens your identity, the more you will avoid it. So it's no wonder that you will likely avoid whatever threatens to change your belief, and therefore you deny yourself the opportunity to grow. So stop being so stubborn because you don't actually know everything. You only know your experiences that has shown you to be right for you. Everyone has different needs and personal life circumstances. We have to come to different correct answers. Being wrong opens up the possibility of change. And the helpful part in that is you don't have to be completely wrong, just a little less wrong than before. And here are the questions you should ask yourself to help you be a little less certain. What if I'm wrong? In life, you must be wrong by something. So what if this is it? What would it mean if I were wrong? Sure, you can ask yourself the first question, but you gotta dig a little bit deeper. This is probably going to be painful, but you still need to peel back the onion layer. Where's my onion? Thank you. Would being wrong create a better or worse problem than my current problem for both myself and others? The goal is to look at which problem is better. The option that will be quick and easy but creates the most misery for everyone involved, or an option that takes a little bit more effort but sustains healthy and happy relationship built on trust.
Okay, let's see if I'll be wrong with this one. Failure is the way forward. I think I'm right in this particular case because otherwise, take it up with Manson. Chapter 7, Mark tells us, failure is the way forward. Improvement at anything is based on thousands of tiny failures, and the magnitude of your success is based on how many times you failed at something. So every time we fail, we experience an opportunity to learn something new, so that we don't make that same mistake again. Add up all your failures, and what you get in the end is one big success story. Now, that's not to say this is easy to do. It's hard, it's scary, it's even painful, but it's all a part of the process. Our most radical change in perspective often happens at the tail end of our worst moments. Only when we feel this intense pain is when we're willing to look at our values and question why they seem to be failing us. So call it hitting rock bottom, existential crisis, or weathering the storm. It's gotta happen. Do something. Which is another principle. You don't have to do it all or get overwhelmed with the big picture. Just take it one step at a time. Just do something. Because action isn't just the effect of motivation, it's also the cause of it. This will cause a snowball effect where you'll be the source of your own motivation. And after you take that first step, it only gets easier.
Guys, chapter 8 is one of my favorites. The importance of saying no. Manson helps us to see that the only way to achieve meaning and sense of importance in one's life is through rejection of alternatives. When you accept and affirm everything, swoop at every opportunity, say yes to everything, you overshadow everything in your own life. For every yes, you have to say no to yourself. And the bigger question is, if you don't reject anything, then what do you actually stand for? So set boundaries for yourself, build trust with those around you, and allow yourself freedom by minimizing the amount of commitments you already have.
And then you die. You can choose to see that as morbid, or you can choose to see that death is the light by which the shadow of all life's meaning is measured. Choose the light one. Manson makes a good case for it. Because without death, you would feel invincible. Nothing would have meaning because there's no consequences. And after a while, you'll get tired of that high on life feeling when you have nothing else to compare it to. Death can be scary, yes, because it's unknown and uncertain to us, but we shouldn't stop thinking about it. Death actually gives us meaning. It gives us something worth fighting for. In the book, Manson shares a personal story about how he lost a friend. Manson fell into a depression, and in his dream, his friend came to him and said, "Why do you care that I'm dead when you're still so afraid to live?" We don't know when we'll die, so while we're alive, actually be alive. Be open to changes that help make this world a better place.
And that's something you should definitely give an F about. Pick up the copy of The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F today. We have quick links for you below so you can move through the more important Fs in your life. But please give an F about our discussion segment out tomorrow. Thank you for watching our summary of this book today. Bye guys.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. But that's not how, okay,
Right.
This is how I talk.
Yeah.
This is how I talk. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Or do I need to talk like this?
No.
Radical changes in perspective often.
So bad. Subtle Art of Not Giving a fuck. Okay.
Oh, I was supposed to say something, right?
How to inventory the most important things in your life and give fewer fuck. I was gonna say, take getting into shape. Take getting into shape. Ow. I can see you laughing.
I'm not laughing!
I can see you in the back. Like this side?
Yeah, and then open it up, yeah, because your fingers are covering it. Not only that, just like...
It's hard to balance it like this. Okay. For this value is different. What if it... I said it so well!
You didn't put peaches in your crotch, and I just noticed it.
Okay, no more peach. I promise we're professional, guys. We're very professional.
This is a family show.
Yes. Here's the ending. Alright.
You got this, you got this.
Okay. And that's something, and...
Oh, you don't got this.
I don't got this.